To hear me? Is that what it is?
No, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Well,
We are recording.
all right. Well, I guess I'll just have to hold my hand up to vote.
All right.
All right. Bye.
See you.
All right, I'd like to call to order the June 15th, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting. The time is 7:02. I sent the meeting minutes out earlier today. Can I get a motion to adopt the meeting minutes? The agenda, sorry.
So moved.
Do I have a
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Tim's aye. Okay. The president's report, I'd like to say that it's certainly summer is in full swing, and we've had some really hot days. The Lake of the Four Seasons water temperature is still a little chilly, or as I like to call it, refreshing. Available board members had an informal discussion last week with about approximately 50 interested members who came to tell us about their lake-related concerns. We're working to finalize a second date to host another gathering on a weekend for those interested members that are not available on a weeknight. Special thanks to Dave Parker for moderating and helping give everyone a chance to speak. Some members may not be aware that the club has used an accountant monthly to oversee our bookkeeping. In addition, the club has conducted a club audit every other year. We've hired a new accountant this year. At this time, the club's biannual audit is underway. We've asked them to bring the results to the July board meeting. In addition to this audit, this audit will be conducted a little differently in that we've asked the firm to review our processes to set up a system that protects our club on a long-term basis with checks and balances. We promised this to the membership months ago and have been working on seeing it through as we place the health of our financial accounts as a very high priority. Rather than conducting this audit every other year, we're going to review and vote on the cost benefit of having these audits conducted annually. So that'll be something we talk about in the future. The lodge has been a popular destination since its opening. It's great to see friends and neighbors gathering to enjoy a meal and laughs together. The food and fellowship have been great medicine for the long COVID lockdown. Hopefully, we can begin planning more events and gatherings at the lodge. We'll also work on continuing to add more staff. And lastly, our annual election is coming up. Our ballot is set. Issue 1 is for the selection of our next Board of Trustees who will serve for a 3-year term. There are 10 candidates running. Issue 2 is a proposed update to the code that would allow members to vote electronically. This would be in addition to the option that already exists around absentee and in-person voting. The details can be found in the ECHO. Board and management have done a test run of this type of voting, and the vast number of folks found it to be reliable and easy and felt comfortable after learning the security measures which are in place to ensure accurate reporting. We have a unique and wonderful community. Let's try to enjoy the beauty and kindness of all of them here. Mary Beth.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to amend the prior board meetings from May 18th, 2021 to correct Cabot Ray's name in the chapel discussion. I called him.
Chapel.
I called you Chapel Ray.
That was okay.
Ray.
Could be called a lot worse than Chapel.
Chapel Ray. And also to correct Linda's spelling at the signature line, her name. And so I make a motion to amend, and with those amendments to approve the May 18th, 2021 board minutes. And I need a second.
Do I have a second?
Tim Weibel, second.
Any questions or concerns about that? All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Jim, I see a hand up. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. Mary Beth, do we have any correspondence?
I do. I have a letter from Steve Parrish. Ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Trustees, as always, thanks for all that you do. I know there is discussion of Rule 13 in the boating regulations as it pertains to larger pontoons on the smaller lakes. I would like to point out an issue that I believe exists with smaller boats on the Lake of Four Seasons. I reviewed the boating regulations in their entirety and do not see any specific call out regarding the use of kayaks, pedal boats, or other small crafts on the Lake of Four Seasons. While I think those crafts are perfectly fine to operate on the Lake of Four Seasons during daylight hours, I believe they present a safety risk at the following times: before dawn and during the 30 minutes after dawn, at dusk and after dusk. In low light conditions, these crafts are difficult to see from the deck of a pontoon or ski boat, particularly if the smaller crafts are dark in color and the persons operating them are dressed in dark clothing. It would be my suggestion that we either consider amending one of the rules in the boating regulations to require either the use of a light or beacon on those vessels if operated during the above-mentioned times, or that their use is restricted during those times. Thanks for your time, and I am available to discuss the details of my concern at any time via this email or by phone. Steve Parrish, Lot 572.
Thank you. Any other correspondence?
No,
I think you make some really good points. I will pass that along to the Lakes Committee and have them take that into discussion.
Appreciate that, Steve.
Cabot, Treasurer's Report.
Okay, well, this is always a busier time of year as we hit into the summer months, and we did see a fair amount of activity in about half of the committees that we represent here. And we actually moved from 139,285, 07 total, or at the end of last month, to 146,568, 13 for the May report. So with that being said, and I think you've all received a copy of this, I would make a motion that we accept this report for May 2021.
Are there any seconds?
Do I have to keep seconding
Tim,
everything?
apparently.
Apparently. Second.
Any
Okay. Thank you.
any questions or comments? Right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Jim, I see you raising an aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes. Jim Sigafus, Management Committee report.
All right, thank you, Annie. The HA road plan for 2021, plan of action for the 2021 road assessment spend is in place. The front paving is completed and looks great. The management committee would like to use 2020 enterprises again this year to complete our chip and seal sections of the road. The total estimate is $106,678.56. I have sent a proposal out to the board earlier today, and I'm looking for board approval to use road assessment funds for this project. The management committee is looking to improve our security in the hills. We are actively looking at RFID gate systems. We have one bid from our current gate controller provider. We are working with this provider to adjust the bids to meet our needs. We expect the final project to be under $45,000 and will provide a great security enhancement to the community. South Central Power, long-term project to bury the lines from basically the front all the way up to the back of the gate. We'll end up with the club needing to provide some funds to bury the electrical feed into the lodge from the main power supply over near the lodge. Don't yet know how much that will be. The management committee is continuing to look at improving areas of security. Some of the longer term plans would be cameras at the boat ramp and boat dock areas. As a reminder, parents are responsible for the actions of their children and guests. Joyriding of golf carts and ATVs on the golf course is a serious issue and will not be tolerated. In addition, our roads are not an ATV track or dirt bike track. Children operating ATVs and golf carts and dirt bikes is a privilege and can be taken away if abused. If you are riding, we've had this problem before, but if you're riding around in the same area just as a track and you're annoying your neighbors, that's a problem that we can't have. The use of the roads is to get from point A to point B, to go to the pool, to go to the ATV track, to go to the golf course, not just ride around and joyride. So keep that in mind. In addition, staffing is a problem nationwide. As Jeff will go into more detail, I just ask that members to be more patient during this time with areas such as the lodge and clubhouse service, mowing and maintenance, and our security. So with that, I provided the 2020 enterprises, basically kind of a detail what they intend to chip and seal this year. They basically got 6.21 miles at a cost of $106,000. Last year, we did solicit other bids. I think we had one other contractor come in. They took one look at our hills and said, no, this is not for me. That's why we used 2020 Enterprises. This guy's real familiar with township roads. And Jim McNabb said this guy does a lot of the township roads around here. He's used to the hills. He's used to these types of roads. And he did a great job for us last year. I'd love to get 3 bids, but nobody really wants to come in here and deal with our roads. So with that said, we do need board approval to spend that road assessment fund.
And for reference sake, there is about $164,000 in the chip and seal account. So there'll still be a reserve after this is done. That's after the front paving project has been paid for already.
The remaining funds will be used for culverts, hot patch asphalt that our maintenance guys will do.
This is all coming out of our $200
It's our-
fund that we
yeah.
put forward.
Yeah, basically what Rex Everly and Rick have kind of drove around, looked for the roads that need to be chip sealed this year the most. And I know last year we worked on the dark side of the lake, and so this year they've got some other roads, Osage, Maya, Tomahawk. So they kind of target the worst roads to get taken care of.
Is that something
We need,
know?
yeah, so I'll need somebody to make a motion for the payment to 2020 Enterprises for $106,670.56.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Okay. Any other questions or such for Mr. Sikapis? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim said aye.
Jim, Jim's aye. Any nays? Motion passed. Yeah, they did a great job last year. Jeff, General Manager's report.
All right. Well, Jim tried for a terrific segue there. I am not going to start off on labor shortages. We'll start off on delinquencies instead. Delinquency totals for the primary assessment account as of May 17th were 25,612. As of today, 22,489. So while that with our legal department, legal company continues to grow, we have managed to turn around some of the 30 and 60 days. Road delinquencies as of 5/17, 2,930, and as of today, 3,050. And this is where it gets exciting. Our dam assessment account total, 102,088, with just over 100,000, 101,000 of that being in that checking account that we have to keep open until the loan is paid off. Our current loan balance is 113,961. So would like to propose that we go ahead and, we're going to take the 111,000 and some change out of operations regardless. So let's go ahead and do that now, save a few $100s on interest. We will borrow from the CapEx reserve for the remaining 100,000 and then replenish that as soon as it's paid off with what is sitting in that popular bank checking account.
That makes sense, Eric.
That's what
Your
I
process.
started writing numbers down and I'm like,
So,
I gotta make sure I didn't.
We owe 113 on the dam, on the loan. We've got 102 in a reserve account at Popular Bank that we can't touch until the loan's paid off. And that was funded with initial assessment dollars. So-
Collateral.
It's collateral.
Okay.
So what we're going to use 111,000 of operating funds, basically pay the last payment off. Take 102 out of CapEx, pay the remaining part of the loan off. Once the loan's paid off, we can take that entire deposit back out of the Popular Bank account, and then we just put it back in capital. So capital's made whole.
When's the due? I mean, it's due in the next. few months.
November. If you paid it out, it's
November.
So
November.
we'll save a little bit on interest as well.
Correct.
Basically, we're 11 grand short, give or take. Is that?
Yes.
Right. And the payments are just over $33,000. So there's no reason to not just
Right.
get it paid off and save a few $100s.
So when will you be paying it off?
Well,
As soon as the board gives approval, we'll do that.
Yeah,
But like you're suggesting we do it right away though?
correct.
Oh, heck, yeah. Let's do that. You want me to
All
make-
out capital?
The 111 we'll just take whatever the 102 capital and the rest of that's come out.
Right.
operating.
Yeah, we're basically borrowing from capital for a week or two.
Might take a little longer to get them to get their money back.
I'd be happy to make a motion that we pay off the damn loan.
Did you say damn?
The
Watch your
damn- I
language,
just said
Missy.
the damn loan.
I will second that.
All right, we have a
Good job,
second.
Barry.
Any other questions or comments?
I just assume that's management committee's recommendation to us to do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Jeff and I, and I'm sure everyone's on board. We were going to do this. It makes sense to do it now. We were going to do it next month, but
Okay.
it makes sense to do it now.
All right, any other questions or comments?
That, okay. All right, lodging,
Well,
Before we go,
No,
Okay.
they got to vote.
all in favor?
oh,
aye.
Aye.
Jim, you're an aye? Okay, great. Any nays? All right, motion passed.
all right, lodge and clubhouse updates. Lodge, we'll again have the special menu this Saturday, as we will every concert night. Doing the all beef Nathan's hot dogs again, along with the chicken leg quarters and pulled pork sandwiches, and selling growlers of beer in plastic containers. Staffing still an issue in the lodge. We've advertised on Indeed, advertised with the Ohio Department of Labor, Ohio Means Jobs, as well as on Facebook, and we have had exactly 0 applicants for that. Thankfully, we do have a couple of members, relatives that are interested, at least for the summer, in stepping up. So we've, as of today, we've gotten 2 more people hired, primarily front of house, and then plus 1 dishwasher. Still need to really get 1 more skilled, experienced cook in there, because right now everybody that is in that role, other than our chef, is learning as they go.
Just want to make a quick comment, and the people you have hired seem to be excellent. We've enjoyed the service and the job in the kitchen. I know you're running short, but they seem to be very, very good hires there.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. And we really have been blessed with the level of staffing that we've got. It's just the volume isn't quite there as far as the staff that's available. Clubhouse, we have got fully staffed at this point. This coming Saturday and on concert nights, typically they've closed at 5 p.m. So we will continue that rather than sit around with very little business as everyone's at the concert. And then overall staffing updates. It's really interesting by position. Security, we're down to, have been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And then maintenance, we're down by 1 plus 2 seasonal. Security, we have had a couple people that have started the process and decided they weren't going to finish it or couldn't finish it. Maintenance, Rick has actually had a lot of luck this week with getting interviews in, and then has a couple members of the golf committee that are going to help out as well, riding mowers around and weed eating. But everywhere is experiencing this, from what I understand. And people that are traveling, I'm hearing the same thing at restaurants, fine dining and fast food. I've seen several fast food restaurants and Starbucks closed at certain times of the day they wouldn't have typically been closed. Other companies besides just hospitality companies are running into this problem. The Amazons of the world have constant ads going, and everybody's just trying to throw more money at it to get people in the door. I'm not sure whether that's working or not. What I know is just that we've not seen a whole lot of people apply, and those that do apply, quite a few that don't show up for interviews. Office hours, we'll have a staffing challenge in the office over the next month, with one person out for about that period of time starting next Tuesday. So we're currently open Monday through Wednesday from noon to 6, just to give Penny a chance to catch up with all the administrative stuff and getting payments posted and that kind of thing, handle accounts payable. And then Thursdays all day from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Shipping container, if you haven't been down to the front entrance today, the shipping container has been moved into place. Rick and his crew are going to work on building the breezeway for it first, between that and the security office. And then we'll work on getting the enclosure over at the roof and the T111 walls.
What was the plan for the old shed that was there?
For now, we're going to leave it there for overflow. Rick's plan, once we see kind of how that whole thing goes, is to move it over to either the maintenance area or the golf course maintenance area.
The original intention was to use it for stored chemicals, so they didn't have to have them in the main part of the buildings. You're Mary Beth. You're covering the Echo mailing. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
unless you'd like to.
I will leave it up to you. And then we'll be looking, as we perform these hybrid meetings, or both in person and via WebEx, looking into some upgraded equipment. We've got a lead on a very inexpensive mixer that should work better than the one we've got and has more channels to it. But we'll also be looking at either a projector and screen or a television, so that we can actually see the people on WebEx, other than me just looking at Jim's computer right now. And that is all I've got.
All right, any questions for Jeff? All right, let's move on to committee business. Just go around the horn. Tom, you want to start us?
Yes, Social Committee is sponsoring a concert this weekend, Katie and the Red Hots, from 8 to 11. The Health and Wellness Committee had a 5K walk run on Saturday and had, I believe it was 95 people participating. That's it.
Okay. I got some new member requests. The new member committee would like to first off, have a new member reception. We used to do this all the time, May time period, where we invite all the new members along with board members, management people, so that they can be introduced to the club, as well as all the chairmen of the different committees and so forth. So I'd like to make a motion to have a new member reception at the lodge on August 21st from 11 to 1. That is, by the way, it's already been worked out with Jeff, with timings, reservations, and so forth. So that it's all that's required now is board approval.
I have a second.
I second that.
Thanks, Cabot. Any questions about that event? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes.
Okay, and I have a second new member committee request. They would like to hold a meet and greet concert at the amphitheater on July 10th from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And again, it's the same kind of thing. They want to invite candidates for the board, current board members, management people, and just have a concert, and, have a good time. So that would be, I would like to make a motion that we approve them to do that on July 10th from 8 to 11.
Any seconds?
Jim?
I guess I'll second that.
Any questions about that?
Who's going to
playing
be?
that day?
Yeah,
Same
who's
concert.
playing?
What, is that one of the
They-
social committee that, you know who's playing that day, Tom?
I don't believe it's Social.
It's
No,
not,
it's
it's
the
the
new member.
No, the new member committee wants to do.
They're gonna take care of it.
Are do they have someone in mind they're going to have?
I guess they do. That wasn't in my message from.
So at this point, you're just getting the time and the date. on
They
it.
have, I know they've already reserved the amphitheater
Yeah.
through with Penny, and that's all they had.
Yeah.
The stage. So there, again, this is similar. They just need to have board approval.
So if they have to hire somebody, then they'll come back and request for the funds at that point. It's basically your
Yes.
understanding. So, okay.
Yes, that is.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Couldn't hear.
Jim's an
Couldn't
aye.
hear.
Okay, any nays? Motion passes.
I have nothing else.
Tim?
Thank you, Annie. I'm filling in for Jim Lloyd
Okay.
for starters. As far as the airport committee, there's nothing new other than they are continuing to work on the plans for their fly-in event. And then the range committee, they had the trap shoot last Sunday. And unfortunately, they were rained out and were not able to complete it. So they're going to finish that this coming Saturday on June 19th at 1 o'clock.
My shotgun hit it.
And I did stop over there and last Sunday to watch some of the activities. They had a great turnout, and Eric Lapp can't hit the broadside of the barn. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, as far as my committees go, the golf committees has nothing new. Obviously, their tournament schedule's in full speed. The ORV committee, which is the off-road vehicle committee, they are in the process of planning to do some repairs and regrading of the track. And they do want to, they want approval to have committee funds of $959.07 approved to go towards that activity. And so I'd like to make a motion that we approve that expenditure for the off-road vehicle repair.
And that's just to pay our maintenance staff to do that? or-
No, they're hiring, they got a bulldozer
Okay.
and no, it's strictly outside sources.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Tom Matthews.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Is an aye. Any nays? Motion passed. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I've got a few things. Regarding communication, we had, last time we met, we voted on some videos to be made for communication with the membership. 5 videos have been recorded and are being prepared for release probably in July. There are a variety of topics covered in the videos: the history of Hideaway Hills, governance, regulations, information for new members. And they had a professional videographer make these. A number of members participated. So that'll be nice to have come out. And we also have added a segment in the know for the Echo, telling information of interest that either board and or management are working on, accomplished, or might be of interest to our community. So that's communication. ACC, I attended the meeting last night. Permits were flying off the shelf. People came in, had all their paperwork, their colors, their insurance, and in 15 minutes, I saw them process about 6 permits. 11 projects have been completed recently. You'll probably notice there are a lot of permits all over the hills. So they're excited about the how that's helping the community and making our, our atmosphere better, our property values and everything. There are a couple reminders. They sent out a notice in the e-blast about covering propane tanks and some suggestions. I think we have about 30 that are not still covered. So if people could kindly do that, that would be nice. And it has to be camouflage, so maybe not covered, but camouflage. Erosion was a big topic that came up at the lakes gathering we had, and it was a concern also. We had passed a rule a year ago, you guys might remember, about contractors implementing erosion control prior to and during their construction. And apparently that's not being done across the board. And so that's a concern. And what else? Regarding and so that's it for ACC. Regarding the barn committee, they are needing assistance to replace and set some fence posts. They need some electrical cord fencing repaired and installed and tightened. There's some maintenance issues in the barn, and they need to shore up some structural problems. And they're also hoping to get some mud control paddocks, the mud control in the paddocks taken care of, but they've been on a wait list for a while. They would like to have a distribution from the barn funds of $650, I believe. And hold on, I got to pull that up. Yes. So I'd like to make a motion to distribute $650 from the barn committee funds for electro braid fencing. It's 10 spools, $60 per piece, and that'll get them started. And they're going to work with Rick at maintenance regarding the post issues. I think they've been trying to get a hold of him, and they're going to continue to try and work with him on those issues. So if I can get a second for that motion.
I'll second it. That's Cabot Chapel.
Any questions about the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim's an aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes.
Okay, one more thing, I'm sorry. ACC, please add clear and visible ID with your lot number on your homes and docks, especially for the, in case of emergencies on the water or on the roads. So emergency vehicles or boats can come get you. I was transported in a boat when I had an accident. So that is important to have a clear and visible ID with your lot number on your docks and your homes.
Thank you. Lakes Committee, want to remind everyone that the parking area atop the dam is designated with lines, and those are the only spaces we should be parking in. The no parking and handicap unless you actually have a handicap placard, and there's no parking in the grass as well as in front of the metal gate. That's there for emergency vehicle access. So we ask that people don't park there. We've asked, first warnings are being given for anyone that's parking in a no parking area, and the second time will be a fine. In addition, on a lighter note, they've stocked all the lakes with the committee funds. So they would like to ask everybody to please practice catch and release for the large bass and follow the common fishing catch limits. The pool committee is requesting some funds. I would like to make a motion that we approve up to $250 from the Pool Memorial Fund to purchase a park grill with a memorial placard for Tim Motter. If you remember, this memorial fund is a sub-fund under the pool committee's funds that was established earlier this year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric. Any questions about that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim's an aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes. Long Range Planning is working with the RV committee to help on improvements in that area. They're also going to start to document our rule change process. Probably be good for us to share with them what we've already been doing, which was established by Greg Tassin. In addition to that, they want to work with the website committee to include their long range planning committee guide along with other improvements they'd like to make to the website. So they'll be reaching out to that committee. They're going to begin the process to educate and communicate to members about invasive plants and good forest management practices. And then lastly, they are recruiting for more members. So if anyone is interested in being part of the long range planning committee, I would reach out to Ken Yost. Lastly, the ad hoc election level process committee had their first meet and greet this past Sunday after the Health and Wellness 5K. The next one is going to be held on Saturday, the 26th at 4 p.m. Remember, I think that's the day Stadium Jam, so there'll probably be plenty of people around. And that's
Still
all-
down there at the same place.
Yes, down at the shelter house. That's all in my report. Cabot.
Okay. Organic garden report. The organic garden is flourishing, according to Greg Patassin, with veggies, fruits, and flowers, preparing for the 9th Annual Garden Arts and Crafts Fest on July 17th. There are 25 vendors registered at this point, and they are still accepting vendors for that day. A new shade pergola will be installed just outside the garden front gate for visitors to Area 54, a shady place to rest after a hike or a dog walk, and another important benefit for all who visit Area 54 is a new portalet located east of the organic garden. So people will be able to visit that if they need to. As far as the chapel committee goes, we are averaging about 45 to 50 people per service on Sundays. We are looking to find out how we can change the signage around because the service has been moved to 10 this year from 10:30. So we don't want to confuse people coming in the front gate and so forth. So we need to try to find the person responsible and see if we can get that done. And we're still working on that, right, Nancy? Okay, so we need to make that change. Also, want to, of course, invite everyone to come to the Father's Day service. That is this Sunday, the 20th, and Hideaway Hills' own Woody and Arlo Guthrie, Mark and Matt Witham, are going to be leading as father and son the music that day. So don't you dare miss it. And that's all we have.
Thank you. Next is open forum. I don't know if we had anyone sign up. No? Open forum?
Where's the sign-up sheet?
Right up here.
Oh. Did anyone want to sign up since we didn't put it out there, I guess? Okay. All right. Move on to unfinished business. Rule 17, this was the club docs clarifications. If you remember, we posted this a couple months ago. It's running the echo for 2 months now. Basically, what we were doing is clarifying that bass boats and sailboats are also eligible to get a boat slip, which we've been doing that already as a general practice. So to my knowledge, we haven't received any feedback. So if we're good to move forward, we can go ahead and vote on that tonight unless anyone has any questions. I am not. I don't think I can.
Oh, that's right. I'll make a motion that we adopt Rule 17 modifications.
Second?
I'll second it. Tom Matthews.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim raised his hand, aye. Any nays? Motion passes. The Key Initiatives Committee has been meeting. If you remember, the board has begun this Key Initiatives group as a means to team up with members of management and bring in other members to bring some of these projects to life. I mentioned this at the last board meeting. We have 6 focus areas. They're complex projects and will involve the committee providing both short and long-term recommendations to the board and management. And that will need to be reviewed and decide which items we want to take as priority. As an update, I'm going to provide just a quick summary. I'll try to make this clear. From a technology perspective, we've been working on software solution sourcing, and the first step in that process is just understanding the club needs. Shortly, we'll begin interviewing, and actually have already started to interview key stakeholders from the office, management, security, key committees like ACC, and membership to understand our current processes and how improvements in technology can help our club be more efficient, secure, and reliable. We'll provide you with information as we have gathered those from those interviews. Emergency response. This committee spoke with members who had previously started research in this area to understand where things were left off. Marion Township and other surrounding services were not super motivated to help our community in this area unless we bring land or other resources to bear. Committee will probably not be able to meet again until July due to vacation, so we probably won't see any updates next month. The lodge project, we're actually looking for someone to help lead this committee, and we'll report on this at next month's meeting, hopefully, if we can get some data and information to share with a new lead. And just to clarify that, the lodge focus is not solely the restaurant, it's completely the entire building. Management's already been working on fixing some issues around roof, electrical and such. So I think we need to look at the whole building and make sure it's sufficient for our needs, because we have our offices down here. We obviously meet down here. So I just want to make sure we're not looking at it just as the restaurant. There's a recreation subcommittee. This committee is staking out various locations in Hideaway as designated areas to house recreational activities such as volleyball and horseshoes. They're considering locations near the shelter house, clubhouse, and lodge. They'll work with Rick and Jeff to confirm location viability. Package handling. So management has been working towards the current plan, which entails the continued use of the storage container and the employment of part-time staff. The committee is going to look at other research other members have conducted to vet solutions that might be a little bit more longer term. And lastly, the security subcommittee. This committee is researching the legal feasibility of background checks on new members to ensure increased safety within our gates. Focus will be on drugs, felonies, and sex crimes. The perimeter is being scoped for cost to secure the most vulnerable high-risk areas. And management is continuing to add details around the process by which we can obtain and implement an RFID gate system. This may be a plan that can grow over time. This year will likely address most of the immediate gate needs. An improved camera security system is on the docket as well for the committee. Short-term is focused on getting cameras down at the FDOC. Longer-term vision is to evaluate upgrading our sorely out-of-date camera system. The committee is investigating some additional security items around non-members using club amenities, as well as concerns with drug trafficking and usage in the hills. That is the key initiatives update. Any questions about that? Or
I just want to add one thing. The trap shoot that was held last weekend, the funds were going to be 100% given to the management committee towards the RFID gate system.
awesome. That's great.
They raised, what, at least, right?
Over
Something,
1,000, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the total was, but
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Find out.
50-50 went for
it was-
$2,000.
it was enough to make Jim Hiles shave his
I
beard.
saw that.
Wow. That's big.
That's the only reason I went. I wanted to contribute to that, so,
You wanted to make sure it happened.
yeah, exactly.
I see. All right, Mary Beth, update on the Echo.
Sure. You might remember last month, we voted that we would allow members the chance to opt in to receiving the Echo via snail mail because some do not, have access to internet or look at it on internet. And to keep club members more informed, we wanted to make it more accessible. There was a savings of about $8,000 last year to the club when we only had it via internet. However, because we felt that communication was important, we did vote to give members the opportunity to opt in. The Penny sent out the opt-in letters with the billing in May. So far, 20 members have opted in. I suppose as they pay their bill, more might opt in, so we can report again next month to see if more members have opted in at that point. And that's it on that.
Any questions? Any other questions for Mary Beth on the Echo? All right, Keno at the Lodge, Eric.
I guess let me start with, did you get a chance to talk to the Keno people, and what's our latest with the Clubhouse?
Well, it's been updated. The machine has been updated. We had Wendy with Ohio Lottery come out and do training for everybody, and then I understand it's been down 3 different times since then.
That's what
So
yeah. Okay.
yeah, so they're working through some technical issues with it. They may be replacing the machine.
I guess this came up in the last board meeting regarding Keno, and that was that at one point the board had wanted to put Keno in the lodge, and then COVID.
I don't think Eric's mic's on.
Actually, the lodge got
I
shut
can't
down.
hear him at all.
So that kind of went away. So there is no cost to us to add Keno to the
Eric,
lodge.
is your mic on?
Nobody ever has a hard time
Well, there Jim is.
Okay.
Can you hold it real
Speak into it
close?
closer.
You mind?
How's that?
Beautiful. Yeah.
He's shaking his head, yes.
Okay. So anyways, to reiterate where I was at, there's no cost to us to add Keno to the lodge. It's really up to us as to whether we want to add it to the lodge. There's no additional cost. I know we pay a monthly or weekly fee currently, and there's no matter how many TVs we want, how many kiosks, it's there for us to take to not take, but to implement if we want to. So I guess, what does everybody feel about that?
Where would we place that? Near the dance floor? If we actually went that direction, would we put it in the bar?
I think the kiosk, the original plan was to put it outside of the bar area, kind of in that little nook where you kind of come in, and then TVs wherever we felt that it was appropriate. So certainly I would think one in the bar, one outside, so people that are having dinner could enjoy Keno if they'd like to.
How much does it make?
Well, if it doesn't cost us anymore, it would make more. So to your point, it's 6%. I think it's 5.5% of all winnings. I'm sorry, of all sales, and then 0.5% of winnings. So if somebody hits the lottery, we're going to get a piece of that. So that's how they do the payout.
But according to Wendy, it's actually 1% of sales that we get.
Better.
So $100 for every 10,000 that we sell. And then you're correct. That's absolutely correct on the winnings.
Yeah.
I just wonder, do we want to consider with like the Lodge Key Initiative, whoever takes over that eventually, would this be a good thing for them to consider as will it fit into the lodge plan or not? Since we don't really know what's going to happen with the lodge down the road, depending on whoever leads that group and organizes it. I do know Eric's right. We did agree to do it back when we were trying to figure out how to get business and income into the lodge. What do you think, Eric? Should it go? Should we have Keno?
I don't think it detracts much from what's going on in there. And if it doesn't cost us anymore, it's just an additional opportunity for us to make a few bucks for the club. So I would be in favor of doing it.
I wouldn't be in favor of doing it in the lodge. Maybe the bar, but not the lodge. Dining area.
Do we have to buy the TVs and stuff for
No,
it?
They provide all of that to us as part of our contract.
I tend to think that, the bar would be a place where you'd go in and you could place your bets if you're, or whatever, play Keno. I've never done that. You got a screen or two in there. People can go in there and then come back out. And in the dining room, that's where we're trying to have kind of a little more fine dining, if you will. I don't know that you need to have it there also. But I like the idea of having it here to pull people into the lodge if that helps. But then they go into the bar to play, like Keno.
Wasn't there something, and this is so long ago, we talked about it, so I may be recalling incorrectly, but wasn't there something about we had to do it in 2 different counties and we were going to have different people as a result or not?
So that is pool tabs, and I've got information on that next.
Okay, so
But
that's different.
That's different than the lottery. The
Okay.
lottery, because it's state, considers all of us one location.
Okay.
Tim, any questions?
I would say, I kind of agree with Cabot. I could see it in the bar area of the lodge itself to begin with.
It's a good test.
Yeah, give it a good test. Yep, I agree with that.
Well, I wish I could say something.
Necessarily need to make a motion. We already approved this, right?
We did some time ago. So I
it's
think
just
the key would be for us just to ask Jeff to move forward with reaching out to the lottery, and have it installed at the bar and then the kiosk in a reasonable spot.
Any concerns on your part?
Yeah, I last meeting I recommended against it. Number one, it's rather high maintenance when it comes to the needs from staff, from having to pay out and actually keep track of what's coming in.
Maybe we look to do this once you're fully staffed.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't they have a, again, I'll call it a kiosk where, I mean, people can actually buy their Keno ticket, and then depending on how many plays, whatever, they can actually go back to this kiosk, and it tells them how much they made or what, if they made anything or whatever. And I don't know if it pays out anything, but
It doesn't pay out,
But
but
it-
it would do is give you a ticket and says you won
right.
$50. And you would take that
Just
ticket then
Strictly
to
take that to the
the bartender.
bartender.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the trick is that we don't take it out of our bank. We have to have a completely separate bank from Ohio
Right,
Lottery that we
right.
use just for the lottery. So then, and then I guess you want to consider how busy the bar is on a Saturday night or a Friday night. Do we want the bartender amongst everything else going on, making drinks for the dining room, making drinks for the bar, tending to the people in the bar that are at the tables and sitting up at the bar, and then having to step away and do a payout or at the end of the night keep track of the log, I guess it is, the funds that have come in and the payouts. It's a process to it. I mean, I will say the clubhouse staff was open to it because they were hearing about it from members, but they also let me know how tedious it is and walking through all the steps with Wendy. It is a project. Do we do it when we're more fully staffed? Maybe. And maybe we do, but do you still want to be pulling people away from serving others, serving the guests versus worrying about doing payouts?
As I understand it, Jim Lloyd wants to say something. Jim, why don't you give it a shot and see if we can hear you?
I don't know how to say anything.
Oh, you could put it.
Somebody, a phone?
And
Unmute
turn your
yourself.
volume up.
Yep. No.
Nope.
That's not gonna work.
Jim, if you want to call Tim Weibel, we'll put it on speaker so we can hear you.
How much for that?
He's probably got about a 6-second delay.
And now.
here we go. Okay, Jim, you're on.
Okay, can you hear me at all?
Is it on
Can you
speaker?
hear me at all?
Try the end
Put
of the
your
phone.
speakerphone on.
Oh,
Put the end of the phone.
Do you know how?
Jim, maybe you should call me.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, but I have a tendency to agree with Jeff on this. Well, first, if we do put it in, why couldn't we put the kiosk outside and put the screens inside? Because it's going to take up a lot of space. I don't know whether this is working or not, Mary Beth.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. But until we get that place fully staffed, it is a lot of work. We talked to the people down in the little Holiday Hills or whatever I think it's called, who got it, and they said, yeah, there's some work to it. So I kind of think that might be a good idea to hold off on this until well, at least through the summer when we're really busy, and in the winter when we don't have quite the business, it might be worthwhile. Just my thoughts.
Okay. Can I hang up on you now?
You have before.
I swear.
Mary Beth's apologies, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. I thought
Yeah.
I thought I was hitting the speaker button. Sorry.
now you have to fix my phone at the end of the night.
All right, so we think we just wait until we're fully staffed. It feels like a number of us are.
Are we
waiting
still
on-
going to go forward at the clubhouse though, correct?
Yeah, that's just a matter of trying to get the darn thing
Okay.
up and running.
Well, why don't we see how that goes? I mean, another starting point, I guess.
Right.
I'm happy we got it at the clubhouse and then to see how that continues to grow. And, and I think Jim probably makes a good point. We are busy in the summer. When things start falling back and we don't have as much business, that might be something we bring in. So I can see both sides of the argument. So with that, should I go into, sounds like are we
Yep.
going to go on to the next one?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so pool tabs. Pool tabs is similar. The big difference between pool tabs and the lottery is this is more of a by county type of situation. And the way that this would work is we are not a charity. We would need to go into contract with a charity that works with the Attorney General's office, and the vendor locally is a company called Lancaster Bingo. So what we would do is we would contract with this charity. They would provide the equipment, and typically it's a kiosk that holds, one set of pool tabs is 4,000 cards. Some of these machines I've seen hold up to 4 sets, sometimes 2 sets. But anyways, it's a piece of equipment that they would put on the wall, or you put in your facility, and there's no cost to us to do this. We would make 6% of all sales. Okay, so what that comes out to is per 4,000 cards, we make $240. Okay. It's a little different in how we get the cards filled, how we get the machine filled. When the machine gets filled, we would pay $560. They immediately give us our $240 check. We now have 4,000 cards that the machine and everything takes care of as far as taking the cash in and so forth. So we would sell 4,000. Of that $4,000 in sales, approximately 3,200 of it, I think 3,300 of it, goes back to the people on the pool tabs. So it doesn't pay. It's not this isn't a Vegas kind of thing. It actually is pretty well controlled by the state as far as what the payout is. So that's where it's actually 4,000 minus 560 is what the payout is. And I don't have that at the top of my head. But bottom line is the charity makes a little bit of money. We can make a little bit of money. And the only thing that there is no cost to us. If we decide to it's not working for us, we simply come tell them to come pick up the equipment. So, so it's simple, again, similar to the lottery as far as what the money we make on it. It's just a different format. Some people like doing the pool tabs more so and I've seen some people 100 pool tabs at a time, they get into it. So
How is the payout handled if you win?
okay, so the payout would need to be specifically, I was thinking of this as a clubhouse type of venture. And so you would take your payout slip to our clubhouse attendant and they would pay it.
So there's a separate accounting system for that
We would,
versus the keynote.
yes.
Yeah, it's state versus county, not really
Well,
control.
you would
but
certainly
run,
want to
yeah.
keep all that separate. You don't want to
Yeah.
mix and I thought our POS had a way to do that. I mean, it certainly could be investigated versus us just having one bag for one and one bag for another. But
Now so I'm not sure what pull tabs are. Is that the same thing as scratch offs?
No.
Okay.
Try to match
Okay.
the numbers.
yeah, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
There's 5 tabs, you pull them. If there's $50 there, you win $50. If it's
Okay.
a bunch of apples, you win nothing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we don't give away an apple, I guess. Now Penny had tonight, she was talking specifically about scratch offs. Of that 6%, she said how half or 3/4 of that goes to the charity. Is that right?
no.
Okay.
So we pay that $560, okay, up front, and then they give us $240 back.
Right.
So the difference between that, and my math isn't, goes to the charity. They actually make more money than us.
Oh,
But
okay.
they also are paying for the cards. The charity pays for the cards that go into the machine.
Okay. And then the other issue, she said that now, again, with scratch offs that they found out, and because those are county run also, is that because our Office of Operations is in Fairfield County and the clubhouse is in Hocking County, it was something that we weren't able to do at least when it was investigated before.
Right. And that's it. If we want to have it at the lodge, for example, we will need to find another charity in Fairfield County to handle that. we wouldn't be able to use the same one unless, of course, you have one that,
I think what Jeff's saying is, because I had investigated this before, they said if your office is in this county and you can't sell them in another county.
That was Penny's understanding, or at least
And that's
my
what-
understanding of what
And when
Penny
we
said.
called the Attorney General's office, this was 5 years ago, that's what they said.
The office is Fairfield.
Yeah, and I said it's the same community, literally a mile apart. She said, I don't care if it's across the street.
it's been a while since because I had that same conversation with the Attorney General's office, and, because I was following up on the work that you had done at one point, and they told me differently.
Well, it may have
So
changed.
it may have, and then when I spoke with the representative from Lancaster Bingo, he was pretty adamant that wouldn't be an issue, because of course I brought that up, that we're here in Fairfield. It's all about where you sell the tickets, is what I've been told.
Okay.
So if there's 4,000 tickets, is it $1 a ticket?
Yes.
And Jeff, are you feeling the same way about this as you do about the other, that the staffing is a problem?
Well, yeah, I don't know enough about the things that Penny had thrown out there. Is apparently you have to keep a separate spreadsheet for these. And again, talking about scratch offs, I'm just assuming that they're the same thing as far as how they're handled. They're a separate spreadsheet that accounting would need to keep track of these tickets. I don't know why that is. And then the whole county issue of, and she's been here 7 years, so it may very well have been from 5 years ago that they had said that because of our office of operations is in one county where we were wanting to sell them as in another, it wouldn't work. We had tried to move it to the security office. Oh, there's our office of operations. And that's not how it works, apparently. I mean, even though that's the street address, that's apparently not how it works. So that was the issues that they came up with then, but who knows what's changed since then? A whole bunch, but
That is correct. 'Cause we thought we'll just move it down there, and they said, no, you can't do that. Your office is up here.
okay. And Eric, you talked to the county lottery folks.
I talked
More recently?
my most recent conversations with the vendor from Lancaster Bingo. It's been a year since I talked to the Attorney General's office, because we were, the last, we were kind of looking at, we did make a decision on going forward with this, but I know I had contacted the Attorney General, and they didn't seem to have any issue with it. So that's the information I got.
Okay. And that is all I know. That was, I'd mentioned it to Penny, and she had said that these were the things that, at least at the time, that she was told.
Do you want to call them again and get confirmation?
The Attorney General's office?
Yeah, just to make sure that they're clear that our office is in Fairfield and that we're selling hockey.
Well, I certainly can do that. It's, I guess the question is, does this board have an interest in doing it before I go and dig any more?
We
any more
didn't
work on
vote
it?
on this though,
No.
did we?
No.
Okay, this is different than what we
This
were.
is, we were going to take a
Okay.
look at if my memory serves me correct, we were going to take a look at what the lottery was doing and getting that implemented, and then kind of circle back on this. And so now it came up in the last meeting, and now I'm circling back.
So maybe it makes sense if your concern is still about the staffing having extra work while they're busy. Maybe it makes sense if Eric's going to check on it to wait until winter,
To push it until slower season.
slower season,
Or more staffing.
or more staff.
More staff.
Well, but we're staffing, we're at the clubhouse. We're good right now, are we not?
Yes.
It just seems like a lot of work for, to have run two separate accounting systems, sell 4,000 tickets to make $200, $200 and some dollars.
Well, let's move forward with a Keno right now. And just, give that a trial run, see if it gets up and going, see how difficult it is for the staff to handle. If it ends up being a easy thing for them, then we could explore the
system,
pull tabs next, I guess, is what I'm suggesting.
Now you're talking about Keno and the clubhouse, because that's
Yes.
already there. They just need to fix their darn machine.
Well, but again, that's going to give us an opportunity to see how they perform with that and handle it and how, if it's a burden or not.
Okay.
Because they are fully staffed, right? In Clubhouse.
Right now they are, yeah.
So you're testing.
And, I guess, let me add this then, if certainly we as board members, we go out to drinking establishments and you see these places on the wall, ask the bartenders. I mean, I've talked to quite a few, and it doesn't seem like that has been a big issue as far as how they're counting it. They're doing it, they must be making money at it. And I don't think this is a case where we sell 4,000 tickets a month. I'm betting we sell 16,000 tickets a month.
Okay, mute your computer and then put you on mic.
Okay, I have muted it.
Okay, Jim would like to say something.
No, it's a question, actually. Are we talking about putting the scratch-offs in the clubhouse with the Keno, or were we just going to have the Keno?
Did you mute your microphone on your computer?
Yeah, it is muted.
Okay.
I thought the answer was to have both Keno and the pull tabs.
I think we've had both. I think Eric's suggesting we move forward with both.
Yeah.
But others are suggesting that we just start with the Keno and then circle back after we see how that goes with the staff.
Okay, the one thing I was thinking was if we could put the scratch-offs in there. I don't think that would be the same accounting system as the Keno, wouldn't it? Would it, or would it not?
No, it would be
No.
separate.
Separate.
So, no, I'm not talking pull-offs now. I'm talking about the scratch-offs, the lottery.
No, we're not.
We're not
Oh,
talking
we're not
about
talking
those.
about that one. We're talking about the tabs
Pull
and
Yeah,
not,
I know.
we're not talking scratch off. Where'd you get that?
Well, we're not going to put scratch-offs in there
Oh.
through the lottery then, is that correct?
Eric?
At this point, just Keno.
He
Keno
That
and
was
poll
not on my
tabs.
radar.
he said that
So,
that's not on his
I
radar.
believe, but for the record, I think we could add that as part of our current contract if we wanted to. But that's
I
not what I'm.
think you would probably make more money with less work if you put the scratch-offs in there instead of the pull tabs.
And it's all coming out of the Ohio lottery bag.
Right.
You don't have to worry about counties. And all
Oh, does that all come out of the same accounting then,
It would.
Jim?
Ohio lottery bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that would be one simple.
Are you done with your question?
I think so. I just thought maybe putting the scratch-offs in there would be better than the pull tabs. I mean, I've seen both places, and I think the scratch-offs, if we're going to do one or the other, I think the scratch-offs might be a better shot than the pull tabs. Less work.
Thanks,
I'm done.
Jim.
I'm quitting.
Thanks, Jim. Bye.
So does anyone have a propensity to make a motion for one of these options, or do we want to just move forward with Keno and circle back next month?
I really think that's the wise thing. And then the scratch offs, if we get it down where it's a nice system, staff's handling it fine, then we can add scratch offs. Because I agree with Jim, if we limit it to one payout place, which would be the lottery, that's going to be easier. So maybe we come back then with the scratch offs later.
So I don't have a motion.
I agree.
Okay. All right, so there's nothing for us to vote on. Just going to hold off and we'll talk about it later. All right, moving on, reaffirming the e-votes. I'll read off all the 7-0 votes first, and then I'll do the 6-0 votes. May 21st, we voted to pay Conspiracy Band $4,000 from Social Committee funds for the upcoming concert. May 24th, approve Mary Beth Fisher as the board representative to the Barn Committee and Annie Kerrigan as the board representative to the Pool Committee. May 25th, approve up to $2,000 or less from the Communication Committee funds to pay for 5 informational videos. These informational videos will be available to the members online on subjects ranging from Hideaway Hills history, governance, and rules/code of regulations to volunteer committees and new members. On May 26th, approve paying Pastor Jeff Wick $125 and a piano player Lydia Sander, $125 from Chapel Committee funds for the Memorial Weekend service. May 27th, approve paying Wright Landscaping Supply and Marketplace an additional $76.86 from Pool Committee funds to correct the drainage issues that was created by the addition of the retaining wall and burying the pool drainage line. May 28th, approve the ad hoc election level process committee hosting meet and greet sessions with board candidates on Saturday, June 12th at 10 a.m. at the Shelter House and Saturday, June 26th, 4 p.m. at the Shelter House. May 29th, approve reimbursing Hideaway Hills $320.19 from Chapel Committee funds for mulch used at the chapel. June 3rd, approve up to $2,000 from Chapel Committee funds to be used to pay weekly speakers and music leaders through July. June 7th, approve paying Greg Patassin $159.65 from Garden Committee funds for gas, propane, mower, filters, tire tube, earth, anchor, and hose. And June 8th, approve paying Michelle Mays $250 from Social Committee funds for DJing the May 29th event. Approve paying Katie and the Red Hots $1,200 from Social Committee funds for the June 19th concert. Approve paying Turn It Up $1,200 and Artista $500 from Social Committee funds for the July 3rd concert. We have the following 6-0 votes. May 20th, approve paying Taylor Rental $507.27 from Social Committee funds for tables and chair rental. And May 25th, approve paying $3,750 to the Conspiracy Band from Social Committee funds for the concert Memorial Day weekend. And those are all the votes. I have a motion to reaffirm those.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The Conspiracy Band, of course, they ended up canceling the concert. But there's two votes here. We agreed to pay them $4,000, then we agreed to pay them $3,750.
They lowered their fee.
They lowered their fee.
Yeah.
For canceling?
No, before.
Okay.
They did. They lowered. Yes, I was in the. Penny said no. Actually, the fee had been lowered to 37.
Originally, it was 4,000.
Right.
There was a switch over from Mike Burnside as the social committee chairman to Dee Dee Parker. And Mike had told Dee Dee it was $4,000, but when she looked at the contract,
Yeah.
it was actually $3,750. So we probably should have had, I thought we had a vote to rescind the first
Yeah,
one.
we should have.
We should have, yeah, we didn't, but
Okay. And then the fact that they didn't play at all, I assume that those funds were not distributed.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I had.
So do we make a motion to rescind that verbally and then approve the vote?
yeah, we can do that. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion. I'd like to make a motion to rescind the approval to pay the Conspiracy Band $4,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim Lloyd's and I. Any nays? All right, motion passes. Can I get a motion to pass the remaining e-votes?
So move.
Second.
Any questions about that besides Tim's? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Jim's an aye. Any nays? All right, move on to new business. Mary Beth, mirrors at dangerous curves.
Yeah, this is just piggybacking off what Jim Sigafus was talking about earlier. We received, as you guys know, incident reports on Mondays or early in the week. And, you know, it's becoming, it seems more common that we're getting incident reports where people are driving on the golf course or doing donuts at maintenance. I know security was called recently about after their gate was closed, someone driving around the gate and doing donuts, ripping up the grass down at North Park. We have damage being done to our property. And more importantly, most of you probably know there was an accident going around sharp curves. It's hard to see around the curves, but especially if people are driving recklessly. And a lot of times, I know people don't like when you say the kids are in these ATVs doing it, but I live on the dark side, and a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of teen or kid traffic in ATVs. And There were pictures on Facebook showing kids on the golf course. That's our most expensive amenity, and it takes a lot of work to maintain that golf course. And we can't have people tearing that up because all members are paying for that damage and the cost to maintenance to have to go fix things. So that's a big concern, and it seems to be a growing concern. So what do we do about that? I mean, I think we've tried to say, parents, talk to your kids, and I hope we can encourage them to continue to do that and know where your kids are at, and know, you know, if they're breaking the gate at Harcum Park and going up there and, you know, damaging with permanent marker, drawing on our furniture up there, or, you know, throwing echoes away, or whatever it is. We need people to talk to their kids. And I think maybe we encourage our members to please call security. I know security is busy, but we need them to know what's happening. And I think a lot of people are afraid to report things. They don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to put things in writing, but we need to know what's going on so we can stop it. And before someone gets hurt, you know, it's the safety concern that's more important than this stuff even. And then maybe encourage our members to consider putting up cameras. I know people did have meetings about getting reduction in camera prices as a group before, and maybe we try and arrange that again. But if our members had cameras up, it would help us in, you know, deterring things from happening. We're having kids go up to the docks in the middle of the night on weekends, and people are reporting that after the fact, so we can't see who they are. But groups of teenagers, like 10 to 12, up there at 2 a.m. at the docks. I mean, this is becoming sort of a routine and regular problem here, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't really know how to stop it unless we can get more cameras out there, and we're working on that. But there was an accident going around Sharp Curve between an ATV and an SUV. I'm sort of surprised it doesn't happen more often, to be honest. And we've all probably had close encounters because the roads are dangerous here, even when you're driving safely. So Nancy McCoy has been researching putting more of those mirrors. You've seen them at Coyote, and there's some driveways that have the mirrors. I think she came up, and I know Nancy's here today, but it was about $5,000 for about 12 of those mirrors at specific locations. I don't think we had it in the budget this year, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
And I know, Jeff, you were concerned about some reflection if people were driving, if it didn't have like a reflection kind of thing on it, that it could blind people, that kind of thing. But I think all the board and management is really concerned about the safety of our members. And I don't know what we do about it, and maybe we can have a discussion, but it just seems like it's getting worse instead of better. And it seems like there's a lot of damage being done, and beer bottles thrown about, and sort of a general disrespect. But the safety thing is a growing concern. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas of what we do.
I think a couple of the recent incidents basically involved guests of members. They come down here, they've never been here before, and they think this is just a playground to get away with anything you can get away with. And I mean, secondly, let's face it, we got a larger population down here now, especially on the weekends, than we've ever had before. So those are a couple of the things that need to be taken into consideration. How do you handle all the extra people that are here? Again, specifically in the summer. And we need to educate the members to explain to their guests that there's rules to be held. You have to abide by here. And if they're not, then the members are going to have to be, pay the piper.
Right. We need to make it clear what the consequence could be. right?
Yep.
Instead of just gray area. You know, you are liable for a fine or whatever it might be, if your guest does something.
Yeah.
I guess that needs to be a strong message.
I think the people that were on the golf course just 2 or 3 nights ago were guests, found out to be guests.
And it seems like they should be fined. I mean, they're costing us money. Employees, there's damage being done. I feel like we should be fining those members who have guests that are just running like free for all.
Wouldn't we Article 9 them?
The members.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, as far as security calling them, do you have to give your name and lot number if you want to report something?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think you have.
No, I
You
mean,
don't-
it's
no, you
just
don't have
call them if
to.
they ask to say, I just don't want to say, but you know, I think, you know, if you see something, say something. If you don't feel comfortable, just say, I don't want to give my name, but here's what's happening.
So do we have to Article 9 all these people, or is the GM able to enforce and just send fines for first-time offenses?
Or at least a warning letter first,
Well,
right?
But some of these are safety and damaging issues.
That's fair.
To me,
Yeah,
that
depending upon
feels
the
like,
situation.
yeah, depending on the situation.
Just so we get out word ahead, you know, that this is the posture we're now going to take, and it becomes clear. This is what's happening now.
I mean, that's what we've done in the past. If it's bad,
Yeah.
there's no warning or anything else.
I
Bring 'em
don't
in.
think this is anything new. I mean, I've been here for 10 years. This stuff comes up about every year, especially early summer. You got new members come in. It's about educating the new members. I mean, I feel bad that she had an accident, but I don't know putting mirrors up is going to stop people driving fast and not paying attention. And you know, I see the hang tags.
We've talked before about putting cutouts of police up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just.
we've got a
goes up
radar
every-
gun. It's just
Yeah, the
hard to
radar
use.
gun.
It's just about trying to educate our new members that say, hey, you know, slow down in the corners. These roads are dangerous. And it's not just about going off in the ditch. Sometimes you go off in the ditch and you don't come back out. But
That's right.
I think that for me, the mirrors are slightly different in that I can at least be a defensive driver and could see if somebody was flying towards me at that corner, at least I could stop and just wait and let them pass. But I agree, it's not going to stop people from speeding. I completely agree with you there.
The management committee was worried about the mirrors just for the fact that, well, there's a reflection issue and then those become new targets.
Oh,
And
somebody
then-
damaging them, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, how many of you seen them on the road that are just smashed?
There are.
And then, you know, you got to put them on somebody's tree or put a pole on somebody's property. If they say no, then what do you do? So, you know, it's not just buying these and going and putting them out.
So maybe we do some e-blasts on education and also like come up with a plan on how things get followed up on with regards to either warning letter or fine, depending on or Article 9, depending on the severity.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of what we've done in the past. It's up to the GM, how to escalate the situation. I mean, you're out in the golf course doing donuts. That's in Article 9, in my opinion. That's common sense, but you know, some things have to be taken for each situation.
Right.
And then some of it too has to do with identification of some of these ATVs and that kind of thing, because there are some that just use the example of the vandalism that took place on Natchez.
Yeah.
I think it was about the same time the Harcum Park gate was broken and the vandalism done up there. The 2 or 3 reports we had was an ATV. There was a description of it, but with no lot number on it. So that as well as part of it. And even alerting security to stuff like that would be good. And we're not going to start taking miscellaneous incident reports that we got an anonymous call on, but they can certainly respond to it at the time that the call comes in. There's no identification needed of the caller to respond.
What's the, again, we're short-staffed on security.
Correct.
What's the procedure for another member to, basically say, hey, I saw so-and-so with a lot number, blah, blah, blah. I want to make a citizen's arrest type. I know that's not the proper verbiage, but I mean, security can't be everywhere and they don't have time to react in time to catch people.
Right.
So
I don't recommend the citizens arrest.
I think they could
You're
go
gonna
down.
just have more trouble. You just got to document the issue. You can try to call, if you can't get hold of security, you could try to call the county sheriff if it's a vandalism situation. I don't recommend you try.
Take pictures.
Couldn't-
Take
yeah.
pictures, take a video, anything.
Couldn't
I'm
they
not
go
saying
down?
necessarily
Yeah.
confront them at that time,
gotta
but
get
at least
pictures
get
and
as much information as you can and be willing to say, hey, I saw so-and-so doing this.
Well, isn't that what an incident report's
I
for?
was just gonna say,
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
they just go fill out an incident?
Yeah, but then what happens with that after that?
And then we follow up. I'll either make a phone call or send a letter to the member email with the ATV issues where there's been identification, which has mostly been, hey, they keep driving around my house, some preteen or early teen driving around my house again and again and again with this noisy ATV, almost more noise complaints and just
Right.
disturbing the peace complaints. Just a phone call to the parents and has worked so far. And I think certainly Jim's statement today is a good one on the ATVs and the fact that the ORV track is available. It's there. It's an amenity. Let's start using that instead of using the roads of Hideaway Hills for ATV track.
And part of that is we always had the ATV ORV rules meeting talk about things like, you operating here with respect and, what's okay, what's not okay. Well, we didn't have it last year because of COVID. It ended up canceled. So I know Lee has been having those this year. Just getting that message out. But, when it comes to like speeding, people driving erratically, it's not all just kids. It's, we all see adults do that and stuff too. I encourage you to fill out an incident report if you see someone speeding, driving consistently erratic. So that way Jeff can contact them and say, hey, we've got reports you're erratic driving, so that they don't run somebody off the road and cause an accident. But it's something the management committee has been working on for the last 5 years, just how to address the speeding, how to address erratic driving. We have an influx of people in here constantly. The guests, new members, it's kind of an ongoing battle.
Can I just step back to the mirror issue? I know we said we don't have the budget for it. $5,000 was, I think, what Nancy had researched for 12. And there are concerns there that they might be vandalized. Oh, what if, and I'm not claiming I know all the procedures. What if someone donated that money for that purpose to put up 12 mirrors on 12 really sticky, bad curves? Then if they donate and the mirrors get cracked, that's bad, but, and I'm not inviting that. I'm just saying, what is the procedure for that? Is that something that could happen?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, it's a matter of.
You volunteer?
No, I'm not necessarily
Are you
volunteering.
kidding me?
I'm just going back. I'm just going back to the fact that we don't have it budgeted for that this year.
I would think if somebody came to the board and said, here's $2,000 to put this specifically for this, I think we would
Right.
probably take that.
We would do it.
Yeah, we can take it and try it.
And, they're putting the financial risk in there.
Is it okay if Nancy says something about it?
Yes.
Well, talk right in the microphone.
We were the ones that were hit. We were in our golf cart. Unfortunately, she just didn't see us. We've been members here for over 10 years. She's been here far longer. So it wasn't a guest or a new member. It was simply a really bad accident. Fortunately, we were okay. But we have all had many, many near misses on these roads. And ours was not a near miss. And I am still terrified of these narrow roads. And now even more so being left of center. So this is really kind of just shaken me to the core. So I'm just trying to figure out a way so that people can just, one, stay in their own lane, whether it's, so you put striping down on certain of these curves, that's very inexpensive,
Yep.
extremely inexpensive
Yep.
from everything that I have looked at. There are reflectors that you could put on the side of the road. I thought that would be a good idea. And then I thought, oh, maybe not because of the snow plows, because these roads are so narrow. The mirrors are an expense. I realize that, and it may not be in the budget for this year, but again, anything, I'd have to talk to my husband, but this is so important to me because it could have been so bad. And the fact that we ended up in a ditch and not down the ravine was simply a miracle. We all know you end up down that ravine. It's not good. End up in a ditch, not good, but you're going to walk away. So this is really important. The mirrors, there are many that are unbreakable because of vandalism. So I have looked into that as well, because unfortunately, we all know some taillights and windows or garage, the glass on garage door has been broken just simply because kids find that fun. So smashing or breaking any of these traffic mirrors would be just another added incentive for them to have some fun. But there are ones that are non-breakable. As far as where you put them, I agree. That is something that's got to really be worked out as far as the logistics of attaching them, because the roads are narrow. You put, the companies I talked to, they said if you put a 4x4 in, that works. Well, the roads are narrow, so maybe a 4x4 isn't going to work. A pole, that may not work either. So I understand there's things, to work out. So again, anything I can do, because I'm telling you, it's a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt.
Nancy, what size mirror were you getting quoted?
There was a 24-inch,
Okay.
and it was $287, I believe. I could be wrong. And there was one that was a 36-inch that they were currently out of stock on, and that was $398, I
Okay.
believe. Now those are the ones that aren't going to get smashed.
Those are the unbreakable.
Those are the unbreakable, and they have a reflective glare. So if the sun hits it, because you don't want the club to have any
Right.
liabilities.
I just pulled up on Amazon.
Yeah, and
There's certainly
Amazon's
some
got 'em
cheaper ones.
A lot cheaper.
And maybe we could find some funds to try this out with some
Some of the cheaper ones. I think they're like acrylic.
Yeah,
I left all my notes at
I'm
home.
seeing anywhere from 30 to
24-inch.
$70.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there
That's
are
real
a
cheap.
lot. There are some on Amazon that are a lot cheaper. Do they have the reflective on the top? Okay, I know. I looked, but it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Since I
Being
looked at
acrylic,
Amazon,
is
but they
that
did.
unbreakable by nature then?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
What you sent me, Nancy, was 24-inch unbreakable, 277.87 per unit.
Okay.
And it would attach to a fence pole or 4x4 pole.
That
and
was upon their suggestion, because I asked if it included the pole, and they said no, but it includes the mounting hardware. Well,
And
I got
the-
to mount it to something.
Yeah, the 36-inch was 398.72. That's the one that's out of stock.
That's out of
30
stock
to 45 days.
is what they anticipated about a week and a half ago. So
So
who
if
knows?
I remember right, Jeff, Rex was going to look at these.
Correct. Our road engineer is taking a look at them, and he's doing a lot of traveling right now, but he is committed to taking a look at them and seeing, because it is a valid concern. And I don't know how well this anti-reflective
Yeah, and I
works.
don't either. That's something I'd have to look into a little further.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Gotta come up to the mic.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't.
Can you state your name and?
Well, it's on a shirt.
Kevin
Kevin.
Fleeman,
Kevin.
lot 952. So I'm a solution kind of guy, and I love the idea of mirrors and like the safety issue. One thing I will say is I have one at the top of my driveway. It's always dusty. You know what I mean? And it's covered with moss, and it's like a constant maintenance issue. Maybe think about that. I don't know. I love the idea. It's a genuine idea as far as safety and everything. I get that, but I've experienced the whole maintenance issue myself. I'm like, it'd be nice if I could use it. You know what I mean? As I'm pulling up my driveway, because basically my driveway goes one way. So I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if there's a better answer or worse answer, but I just thought I'd mention that in my own experience.
I can't think of anything else that would let you know what is coming in the opposite direction on some of those
Yeah,
sharp
it's-
curves
it's
like
a tough
on
problem.
Natchez or any of them,
And
the
there
dark
is-
side.
I agree with you. There's people that just don't pay attention. And
How hard are they to wipe
It's
off?
sketchy.
Like once a month or
Well-
something? I'm just saying
you're
around.
like, oh, I should probably wipe that off, but you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying just you, just in general.
Well,
when
it
someone
depends on how
looks-
you put it.
Yeah,
gotta
how
go down
high
the
you put
ladder
it, I
and
know.
try to wipe these things
There's a
off.
lot of,
I
lot
do
of
like the
choice
idea of
on
the
that.
stripes in the corner. We actually talked about it. And I don't know why we never did it, but just put a stripe through the corners. So people try to stay over.
Just stay in your own lane.
When you
Yeah.
do
For
chip and
heaven's
seal,
sakes.
will that cover the stripe?
It would cover the stripe.
You
You'd
have to
do
keep
it
But
right.
doing it.
But it doesn't take much. I mean, you can get the applicators for not very expensive, you know.
That's worth trying. I think we could try.
I agree.
that.
I'd fully
Anything to
support that.
just Let people know, oh my gosh, I'm not in my lane. I'm
Yeah.
clearly left of center.
And I don't think the mirrors are a bad idea. I think we just
It's
need to
just-
make sure the concerns are addressed
I
and, you know,
agree.
let Rex run with it. It's, you know, if it takes a couple months to come to the conclusion on it, then so be it. I think that it, you know, this certainly generated some good, healthy discussion. Maybe mirrors are, maybe they aren't the answer in the long term.
They may or
Maybe
may
there
not
is
be.
something
It's
else to
just-
Kevin's point,
Yeah,
but
there
you
could
know,
be. I don't know. I just think if there was some way we knew what was coming around the corner so that it's not a head on with a, you know, maybe a boat or, you know, someone pulling a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
Are there any other communities that have similar roads that maybe we can see what they do?
I don't know.
you know, there's one, Annie, the package research I'd forwarded to you. There's one that specifically said, and I don't remember which one it was, that specifically said the roads are very hilly and windy, and it wasn't us.
But
So
we,
that may
we
be
only
worth,
talked
maybe worth
about,
an email to them.
yeah, we had only
Yeah.
talked about package delivery there and people wouldn't deliver to their homes because their roads were similar to ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. if
And
we
then
send
check
an
with
email.
them and see what, if any, solution they've found.
Okay,
So
thank
the
you.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we look into getting some striping, put down in the short term, and then we'll continue to let Rex work on.
And anything I can do to help, I'm more than happy to help. I just would feel terrible if someone had an accident, whether it's, you know, teenagers going too fast, and maybe that could have been prevented. I don't know. I just don't want to see anything happen like that. That was just a huge wake-up call
Yeah.
for us, because
Do you
it was
mind-
completely unpreventable. We had nowhere to go except in the ditch, and then we still were hit. So
Would you be willing just to reach out to Rex to pass along? I know he has your initial information that you
I'll do,
provided.
like I said, I'll do whatever I can do to help. Absolutely.
And I appreciate the legwork you've done on it already,
Yeah.
Nancy.
Oh,
Quite a
that's
bit
okay,
in a
it's
short
fine.
period of time.
Like I said, anything we can do to keep everybody safe, you know, and still have a good time here is what you want. But again, if they knew they were like way left of center, even if they had some tape in the road or
Yep.
whatever it would take, some markings. There's even custom signs that you can make that I've looked into, custom road signs. So there's a big variety of things that can be done. And again, I know it all takes time and perseverance. So again, anything I can do to help. I'm
Thank
here.
you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll start there with the lines in the road, and we'll let Rex keep working on the mirror options and other options. Yeah.
Please say your lot number and name.
My name is Cindy Lab, lot 267, Shawnee Lane. So like when we go to Yoncalla because we're working on a house and there's like a three-way stop. And if maybe like when cars are coming this way, like around a curb, instead of like the mirrors, you could trim those trees back, trim like the bushes and just kind of clear the area a little bit better. So I know there's like I just think if there was a little bit more clearing of, I don't know how we could do that. It's probably people's property. We would have to ask them. I don't know how that would go, but just if it's not so bushy coming out, you could look and you could visibly see it would be not a problem instead of having, I don't know, that might help.
Yeah. It's just
Good
a
point.
thought.
I mean,
Places, yeah, that
Yep.
would help.
Some of them
I
might
mean-
be club lots, so you're right. And if not, we can still approach the member, so.
Right.
do we put maybe think about getting a well-worded email blast out and
Yeah.
asking people to do that?
Trim back the
Yeah.
growth.
I think we
Anybody
also,
that's on a blind curve,
Yes.
that's a good point. Very,
I think we also looked at, put the email out, Mary Beth was talking about, this just is asking people to slow down
Yeah.
and, you know, all that. I don't know if you want to help the office with that or if we want to reuse previous e-blasts, but we have e-blasted about this before, to Jim's point.
Tim just made a good point. I mean, we have an easement. That's, I'm not sure, was it 15 off the center?
Yeah, I think it's
20 off the center.
20
Yeah.
Off the center
You don't even need permission, I wouldn't think.
Right.
to trim some of those on some of those dangerous curves. I think that's probably a decent point as well.
Yeah, 20 feet.
So
Some of it's gonna come down to, you got like a bank along the road,
Mhm.
it's coming around. Hard
Yeah,
to shave
I
that
guess
back.
the first thing to do is, identify these areas and see what it's gonna take. Again, that's not gonna something we're gonna do tomorrow, but over the next month, we could probably start.
Well, in the e-blast, maybe you can ask for feedback from our members that have concerning turns that could be cleared.
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Okay. So we'll start with the e-blasts and the lines in the road, and we'll wait to hear from Rex. No old business on the agenda. Let's do new members. Mary Beth.
Sure. Welcome to our new members, Megan and Todd Cahill, lots 1279, 1280, 1281, 1306, 1307, and 1308. Jeff and Sue Decker, lots 1275. Todd and Caitlin Vishnowski, thank you. Lots 651, 652, and 666. I'll make a motion that we approve and accept these new members.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim's and I as well. Any nays? Motion passes. All right, that is all of our regular agenda items. We do have a topic for executive session, so can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Tim Weibel, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion to adjourn passes. Jim, do you want to stay on or? You can, yeah, sure. if you can.